everybody, JTO here. This is going to be really quick, obviously. There's a lot of people reacting to something that I said 2 videos ago and going, John, you're excusing women, you're giving them an out. And in fact, I think people are getting what I said backwards. Now, I'll revisit what I said. I said that the argument being posited by a lot of people in the MGTOW and MRM communities are that women's selfishness, manipulation, deception, irresponsibility, all these negative characteristics are being talked about as if they are innate qualities. That is, that they're built in. This isn't an acculturated behavior. It's not learned. It's not chosen. It's not influenced by the other people that you grow up around, or your parents, or your peer group, or whatever. That it's talked about as if these are just naturally built-in, pre-programmed behaviors. And my argument is that they're not. That these are socialized. They're learned. They are acquired behaviors. That all this negative stuff that we talk about in the men's communities, men's rights, MGTOW, whatever you want. I argue that this is learned behavior. Now, the objection to what I have said is, some of it is saying, well, John, you're excusing women by saying that this is society's fault rather than women's fault. No, that's backwards. You're getting it backwards if that's your argument. My thought here is that if these behaviors are innate, if they are built in, that excuses them. Because then there's no choice. Then this is just a person with an innate selfishness or an innate manipulative quality, or whatever the negative characteristic is that you're objecting to. If it's innate rather than acquired, learned, acculturated, the innate quality of that particular characteristic is removing of choice and therefore removing of responsibility. However, if the selfishness, manipulation, whatever negative thing it is that you're looking at, if that is acculturated, if it is learned, if it is an acquired behavior through socialization, then there is responsibility of the individual person practicing that particular behavior.
Okay, I'm going to have to put on my Gnostic hat for this one. I've been listening to JTO for years, and for the most part, I agree with him on most things. But I'm going to have to disagree with you on this one, brother. This is the part where black people and most of the rest of the world don't understand Western thought. Western thought tends to be binary. Like nature and things have to be one way or the other. They can't be both. Most of the rest of the world believes in duality. So the fact that women, like men, are neither good nor evil is absolutely correct. They're actually both. Good and evil are a human construct to describe human behavior. And as a human construct, good and evil have to exist in the human spectrum. So human beings, male and female, are both. And it doesn't take a history lesson to figure that out. You can go back to the dawn of man and see examples of how men and women as a society are both good and evil and capable of good and evil. And being a social people, a social collaborative species, our culture had to figure out how to put constraints on the extremes of human behavior as a way of maximizing the good behavior and minimizing the evil. So when Messenger Rising say that women are evil, he's talking about their nature as it is underneath this particular system, that women are allowed to express their evil tendencies. Western society as a whole is not doing a good enough job of minimizing the evil tendencies that women as human beings have internally in their nature. They're allowing and encouraging an expression of that kind of behavior in women. It's not to say that all women do it, but in a greater and greater number, it's actually happening, where the bad behavior is being encouraged instead of being minimized, and the good behavior is being minimized instead of being encouraged. And the second thing is, I understand what you're saying about women and men are basically the same, and there's not that much difference between them. And you're absolutely correct. As a percentage, men and women are 99.999% the same. That is very true. But that small percentage that is imperceptibly small, when it comes down to human culture and our sex roles in a society, in a complementary society, that small percentage is a vast difference, or expresses itself as a vast difference. If you consider that the chimpanzee shares 99.6% of our genome, and we're 99.6 or 7 the same as a chimpanzee, and that percentage difference is very small, nobody on earth would mistake a human being for a chimpanzee. We can see there's vast differences between a chimp and a human being. In an organism as complex as a human being, small differences make huge changes in a person. Now, I've done 3 videos on female nature, and female nature throughout all creation is designed to do one thing: collect material for their offspring. Now, there's differences on how a bacteria does it and a human female does it. But the thing is, the nature is still the same. And the expression of her nature, of female nature, drives what she does in society. Hypergamy, selfishness, self-centeredness, all that stuff is there for a reason. It is essential to her role as a female. So even though male and female humans are 99.99% the same, nature at its core gives them a different nature and a different attitude and different attributes to carry out their mission. A man's mission is different from a woman's mission in life. So understandably, his nature is going to be different. So saying that men and women are exactly the same and the only reason they're different is because they've been taught, I disagree. We have hundreds of thousands of years of direct observation and experimentation. And if you believe in the universe that form follows function, you have to believe that human societies and human cultural instruments are built up around not by what we believe, but what is actually happening on the ground, how people are actually built and how people actually act. The sex roles were developed over a millennium. It's not something that just happened yesterday. It's not something that was taught in school. It's something that has been observed over hundreds of thousands of years. You can't ignore that. And what the ancients and even neuroscientists now today learn is that you can't implement an action or a policy against people's nature. You have to work with it. And to be quite honest with you, if you take a look over the last 40 or 50 years, where they've tried to socialize maleness out of men and femaleness out of women, that shit has been an absolute failure. It hasn't worked. Men and women are still basically the same as when they started this experiment, with minor differences. Men still want to provide and protect because it's their nature. Women still want to be protected and cared for and provided for because of their offspring, because that's in their nature. So no amount of socialization can get rid of that, because it's at the core of what it means to be male and it means to be female. That's not learned, that's inherent. And the more they dig into people's biology and dig into people's minds and brain scans, they're finding that out. There is a female structure and there is a male structure, and there are differences because their missions are different. So there is no nature versus nurture. Just the same way there is no male versus female. The two things are complementary. Anybody that's had children and seen their children born knows that that child is born with a core personality. You can't change the core personality. You can alter it and alter the way they behave, but their core personality remains. I have 3 children that are adults, and I can tell you from the day they sucked air, from the first day, their core personality has never changed. Your core maleness or your core femaleness can't be changed or altered, no matter what you do on the outside or what you do on the inside. That's going to come through. Nurture is something that serves nature. It doesn't oppose it. It serves it. It enhances it. It smooths it out so that you can socialize with other human beings and you can fit into society, but it doesn't change who you are. Just like a clay pot to nature is clay. Now, when you shape it, as nurture will do for human beings, you shape it into something else. But the thing is, at its core, at its essence, it's still clay. Western society has a misshapen culture now because they've played with something that they shouldn't have played with. You can't play with people's core nature. You're going to screw up society, which Western society has done royally. Even ancient matriarchies respected male and female nature and gave them roles accordingly. So while I understand the materialist worldview and their binary thinking, I think it would serve Western societies well to stop screwing with things that they don't understand. I understand the materialist thinking that you can't believe in what you can't measure, at least on the surface, but you can't refute hundreds and thousands of years of observation just because you can't measure the damn thing. So I'm going to take off my Gnostic hat right now, and I'm going to get off my soapbox and stop this rant. But John, my brother, I would suggest and I would hope that you would get out of your binary thinking and get into a little dualism and realize what nature and nurture are and how they work together rather than how they oppose each other. With that, I'm going to close out this video and comment, make another video, make a reply. Tell me what you think. With that, I'll see you guys next time.